Hello, hello! Welcome to Vocabulary and Grammar Lesson. Hello, hello! Today, you students understand and correctly use the third conditional. The linguistic contents. In grammar, we're going to work with the third conditional. In skills, we're going to work with the listening skill. Listen to someone talking about practicing mindfulness. In writing, you're going to start writing your opinion essay. We're going to work in the second step, write your draft. And this is the weekly planner. You're going to need page 94 and 95. 94 and 95. So here you have the week planner. Now let's start with the lesson proposed. As I said, understand and correctly use the third conditional. Understand the gist and details of a listening activity about practicing mindfulness. Linguistic contents are the third conditional and the skills, listening. Let's watch this video.
Hello, I'm Mia.
And I'm Tom.
Welcome to the Grammar Hub, the first, second, and third conditional. Are you a typical teen, Tom? Do you want to do this questionnaire?
Sure.
If you had an important secret, who would you tell?
If I had a secret, I would tell my sister. I tell her everything.
Next, if you fell out with your best friend, who would be the first to make up?
Me. Falling out is a waste of time.
True. And if you could study abroad, where would you go?
To France, so I could improve my French. Pourquoi pas?
Très bien. If you pass all your final exams, how will you celebrate?
If I pass all of my final exams, I'll have a big party. But unless I study hard, I won't pass all of my final exams.
So it says here that you're a typical teen, but you've also got clear future aspirations.
I knew it.
Now, if you hadn't answered this questionnaire, what would you have done for the last 10 minutes? Let's look at conditionals.
We use the first conditional to talk about possible situations and their probable results.
If I pass my exams, I'll have a party.
Conditional sentences have got two parts, a situation clause and a results clause.
In the situation clause of the first conditional, we use if plus the present simple.
If I pass all of my exams,
In the result clause, we use will or won't plus the infinitive without to.
I'll have a big party.
We can also use unless to mean if not.
Unless I study hard, I won't pass all of my final exams.
We use the second conditional for hypothetical situations in the future and their consequences.
If I had a secret, I would tell my sister.
In the situation clause, we use if plus the past simple.
If I had a secret,
In the result clause, we use would or wouldn't plus the infinitive but without to.
I would tell my sister.
We use the third conditional to imagine the consequences of a past situation.
If you hadn't answered this questionnaire, what would you have done? In the situation clause, we use if plus the past perfect.
If I hadn't answered the questionnaire,
In the results clause, we use would or wouldn't plus have plus the past participle.
I would have read an article.
In conditional sentences, the order of the clauses can change. If the situation comes first, use a comma.
If I could study abroad, comma, I would choose France. Here's today's task.
Answer all the questions.
Who would Tom tell if he had a secret? What language would Tom like to improve? What will Tom do if he passes his exams?
See you next time.
Bye.
Good. So in the video, you could see the third conditional. And this is an hypothetical situations or are hypothetical situations that did not really happen. So you are imagining what could be the result. The form is if plus past perfect, comma, would plus have plus past participle. Let's see examples. We have a negative example first here. If they hadn't stayed up late, comma, I wouldn't have slept in. As you see, the form, if past perfect, if past perfect, would have past participle, would negative, have past participle. The same with the rest, but now this is a question. If she hadn't visited the doctor, what would have happened? What would have happened? So we have here the same, the form. We just add a question word, as you see. Now, the positive sentences. If, past perfect, would have past participle. So as you see, we add not for negative sentences. We add question words for questions and the question tag. And we add, and we don't add anything in the case of the positive. We just work on the form. Now let's continue. There are two clauses here. If clause. This is the if clause. If you see, we have there the if clause. If they hadn't stayed up late is the if clause. If she hadn't visited the doctor is the if clause. If you had exercised this morning is the if clause. Now, the main clause is the result. So I have the main clause here, the main clause here, and the main clause here. So if you see, we have two formats. We can do this in two ways. Let's see how it works. For example, the if clause comes first, comma, we add a comma, like this. If I had become a vegetarian, I would not have cooked hamburgers yesterday. So we add a comma if we use this order. But if we change the order and the main one goes first, it will be the if clause. You see? So it will be the if clause. Main clause first and the if clause second. Let's fix this. So we were here. I was saying that you can exchange the order, but as you see, when if comes first, we add a comma and then the main clause. And when the main clause is first, you don't need to add a comma. Let's see the examples. Here it is. Main, I wouldn't have cooked hamburgers if I had become a vegetarian. So in this order, I don't need a comma. But if I say if first, the if clause first, I need the comma. Now let's work on the pronunciation. Generally, in these sentences, the main verb is the one that is stressed. It means that they sound more, a little more. For example, if you had exercised this morning, morning is also stressed. but the verbs that are stressed are exercised and felt. If you have exercised this morning, you would have felt better. I'm going to repeat that again. If you had exercised this morning, you will have felt better. Now let's do it more naturally. If you had exercised this morning, you would have felt better. So felt must sound more. If you had exercised this morning, you will have felt better. Felt better. So felt and exercise are the most important words. So that's why they are the stress words. Now it's time to work. Grammar 1. Open your Google Doc, go to page 94 and 95, and work in exercises 1 to 6 as a team. So you have to work on exercise 1. Here you have to underline, you need to underline the correct answer, like this. So read the sentences and underline. Then here you have to match this with this. How's that? For example, I match this. 4 match well with A. So I write number 4 here. Read them and match. In the part 3, you have to complete the sentences with the correct form of the verb in parentheses. So for example here, hadn't quit. Hadn't quit because it's the if clause. If he hadn't quit his job, he would continue, right? Because we're following the form of the third conditional. Do the same with the rest. In number 4, you have to rearrange the words. So it means that you have to order the words. Okay, you have to order the words all over again. You cannot change this. So as you see, the first have been done for you. So you have to order the other words. The one in bold, don't change them. You don't change them, okay? Only change these. Order the words. Part 5. Now you're going to read and complete the text with the words in this box. In part 6, you have to join 2 simple sentences to make a third conditional sentence. Use the words in parentheses. So here you have an example. We started eating less meat and then we lost weight. Would not. So you rewrite this. You join the sentences using this. If we hadn't started eating less meat, the consequence comes after. We wouldn't have lost weight. So you write these sentences again using the third conditional sentence form. Now in part 7, you have to answer the questions using the third conditional, but this is personal. You have to write your own sentences. If I had started learning English earlier, I would, you have to say, what do you think would be your case? So this is individual. Part 7 is individually. Now let's go back here. So remember, work in 7 individually. Now the listening part. You have to listen and work on exercises 1 to 3 in your Google Doc as a team. So you're going to listen to this and answer questions 1, 2, and 3. Listen and work on your exercises.
Unit 6, Track 55, Activity 1.
People often ask me about mindfulness since they know I give classes and am a passionate believer in its benefits. First off, though, it is important to understand what we mean by this term. Essentially, mindfulness is focusing your attention on the present moment and doing with purpose. Although the practice has religious roots, it is now used all over the world by people of all beliefs. This may sound like a simple concept, and in fact it is. Anyone can do it. And these days it is more necessary than ever. In today's modern world, people are always busy, thinking about the future and distracted by their various screens. Hardly anyone takes time out to be completely present in the moment. There are many forms of mindfulness, but typically it involves silent meditation, with the person not moving, usually sitting, focusing on different aspects of the present. These aspects may include how you are breathing, the sensations in your body, the thoughts that are entering your mind, sensations from the outside like sounds, or emotions that you are feeling. Some types of mindfulness meditation involve repeating a word or phrase, called a mantra, over and over to get into the right state of mind. It helps, especially when getting started, to have guidance, for example, in a class or using an app. And these days, there are many excellent resources available. Otherwise, for beginners, it can be frustrating not knowing what to do, or you might be easily distracted. With time, mindfulness can then be expanded to all areas of your life, even when you're not meditating. What I always tell people is that they should have patience with mindfulness and to enjoy the process, especially since it never ends. If they do, the practice can improve their lives in so many different ways, increasing their overall life happiness and satisfaction as they become more engaged in everyday activities, empathetic to other people, and less worried about things outside of their control. Physically, medical science has shown that mindfulness can reduce stress, heart disease, and blood pressure, while also promoting better sleep. What's more, in terms of mental health, many therapists use mindfulness as a tool to help patients with depression, anxiety, and many other mental health issues.
Good. So now you have to order this in the order that you listen to it. Then you're going to go back and listen again. Listen again and then select true, false, or not say here in these sentences. Remember, listen again. Then in part 3, you're going to listen again here in the video, go back and listen again. Listen one more time and answer these questions. You're going to work in part 1, 2, and 3 as a team in your Google Docs. Now, finally, fiestas patronales, building our product. Now, you are going to place your opinion. You're going to state your opinion. So, do you think a presential event is good or a bad idea? Think about this and write your ideas on the matter. Then you're going to write your first draft. You're going to start writing your essay. Remember that this is teamwork. So start thinking using this question to start. Well, this is it for today. Please work on your exercises, upload your evidences, and you can ask me anything if you need. See you around. Bye, bye, bye.
See you in class. Bye, bye, bye.